International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL and Agricultural Development Bank.
Coming up on International Trade Focus, we shall take a look at the Ghana-Germany trade relations and the role played by the Ghana-German Economic Association, GGEA. And later, the African Development Bank, AFDB, has approved a grant of $102 million in budget support to government's fiscal consolidation and economic recovery program.
So Germany is an important trading partner for Ghana. In 2022, Germany's imports from Ghana amounted to over 370 million euros, and the volume of German exports to Ghana was over 290 million euros. So there's no doubt that Ghana-Germany trade partnership is significant for the economic and social well-being of both countries. Here in Ghana, the Ghanaian-German Economic Association, acronymed GGEA, is an alliance for Ghanaian and German companies, entrepreneurs, institutions, organizations, and individuals with business and commercial interest in the two countries. We shall delve deeper into the association's role in fostering mutually beneficial trade relations between Ghana and Germany. My name is Anna Spio, and this is International Trade Focus. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL Good Energy, ADB, Truly Agric and more, Public Elegance, and Pediasi Valley Resort.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Are you an importer or exporter? Do you need quick financing at the best rate on the market? ADB has good news for you. Walk into any agricultural development bank location nationwide for that solution to all your trade financing needs. ADB offers you pre-financing of exports and imports, post-shipment credit facilities, bank guarantees, the issuance and acceptance of letters of credit, documentary bills for collection, outward documentary collection. Enjoy free advisory services from our well-trained, dedicated trade officers. Exporters of agricultural products are encouraged to take advantage of this great service. For further enquiries, call us on 0302 210 210. ADB, making trade finance easy. ADB, Truly Agric and more.
What is all this? Why can't we ever seem to get this right? Our meetings are always chaotic, and that's why we are never able to plan efficiently. I have to do something now.
Yes, don't we all love solutions? The Pediasi Valley Resort welcomes you to the stunning surrounds of the Eastern Highlands of Ghana for your next business meeting, seminar, retreat, or conference.
All their venues are equipped with the latest audiovisual technology, as well as their very able conference and banqueting staff. At Pediasi Valley Resort, you will work in peace and relaxation, coupled with scenes and adventures at the Bree Botanical Gardens, the Art Village, and many more. If you find yourself in my situation, remember, Pediasi Valley Resort is your #1 solution. Pediasi Valley Resort. Live life.
Stay tuned for our focal point segment. In a growing, fast-paced world economy, despite economic blocks and vulnerabilities, bilateral trade relations between Ghana and Germany remain resilient, hinged on a mutual commitment between the two countries to thrive on trade and investment. Trade between Ghana and Germany stands on a viable front despite stifling global economic shocks since 2020, with both countries accumulating a total trade volume of about 641 million euros in 2021. According to the United Nations Comtrade database on international trade, the tenacity of the bilateral trade partnership between the two nations in 2022, Germany exports to Ghana mainly on the back of machinery and chemical products was valued at about $314 million, while Ghana exports to Germany mainly on the back of food and raw materials stood at about $332 million. The progressive increase in numbers between the two countries from a $213 million Ghana to Germany export volumes pre-COVID era in 2019 was proof of a gradual yet mutual relationship growing on a fertile trade boost ground. In more recent times, trade between the two nations have proven even more resilient as data from the Observatory of Economic Complexity revealed that as of August 2023, Germany trade exports to Ghana stood at 19.8 million euros, while its imports to Ghana stood at 14.6 million euros. In the light of the intensifying trade relations between the two countries, establishing a permanent trade presence in 2011 with the Delegate Office of German Industry and Commerce in Ghana, and sealing the deal with Ghana's inclusion in the G20 Initiative Compact with Africa under the German G20 presidency in 2017, was the validation that bilateral reforms and investment partnership between the two countries solidified on a permanent front. Over the course of 7 years, bilateral negotiations on development cooperation and investment spiked, with the German government reaching out to Ghana in the making of several grant commitments, as well as the increasing presence of German companies in Ghana. Ghana, on the other hand, continues to push forward the agenda of increasing trade and investment cooperation with Germany to deepen its economic relations, to remain relevant not only to Germany but all over Europe, taking inspiration from the success stories of North Rhine-Westphalia and Germany in building a progressive and prosperous country. President Akufo-Addo, at the 75th anniversary celebration of North Rhine-Westphalia, Düsseldorf in Germany, said with Germany being a major exporter of industrial products and technology led by North Rhine-Westphalia, Ghana was on course to hinge on its relationship to participate fully in the global market as an exporter of manufactured goods, not raw materials. This was also to further guarantee that Ghana will continue to maintain a conducive investment atmosphere for the Germans and worldwide.
North Rhine-Westphalia is not only the most populous state in Germany, but it is also her greatest industrial region, and has consistently for several decades been one of Europe's most important economic centers. These laudable accolades did not happen by chance. It took creativity, determination, enterprise, hard work, and innovation. We in Ghana are drawing inspiration from the success stories of North Rhine-Westphalia and Germany, because likewise, we want to build a progressive and prosperous country. Embarking on such a journey means we are having to accelerate the process of changing the structure of the Ghanaian economy, which will enable us to participate fully in the global marketplace, not on the basis of exports of raw materials, but on the basis of the exports of things we make. With Germany being a major exporter of industrial products and technology, with North Rhine-Westphalia being in the lead, Ghana's relations with Germany are of utmost importance and must be hinged on this. The recent establishment of a Volkswagen assembly plant in Accra is a welcome development, and we are encouraged by the fact that more and more German companies have expressed their willingness to set up shop in Ghana.
In 2022 again, the German government proved that Ghana was worth the investment hub of Africa when it committed a grant of about 82 million euros into Ghana's economy towards building renewable energy, strengthening the financial sector, skills development, digital transformation, and MSME support. Needless to say, as Germany and Ghana continue to foster their economic ties, the presence of a common institution to facilitate business growth for both countries was not left out. The establishment of the Ghanaian-German Economic Association (GGEA) in 1999 was the perfect mediator for promoting trade between the two countries. GGEA, an allied institution geared towards facilitating business and commercial interests between Ghana and Germany, was born out of the two nations' growing bilateral partnership. The association over the years focuses on linking business partners between the two countries by creating an active forum for public and private dialogue for unlocking business potentials in Germany and sourcing financial partnerships. Designed forums by the association provides information, knowledge and support to both Ghanaian and German businesses to overcome trade bottlenecks and stringent export requirements to the EU market and to take advantage of the viable business opportunities both parties present. As the German ambassador, Daniel Krul, put it at one of the many GGA forums, Ghana's strategic location, growing population, energy potential, and relative peace and proactive policies remain an attractive destination to foreign investors where the prospect of private investment is high if strategic economic policies are put in place.
There are important investors who have a clear rule that they only invest where there is a solid rule of law approach implemented, where corruption is severely challenged, and so that these companies are there. There are others who have a more, let's say, they have a much longer investment perspective. I'm referring to some companies in the construction sector. Some of them don't care about how the situation is in the next 5 years. They are more looking at the major trends. How is the situation in Ghana, in the region, in the next 50 years? And that is, I think, a big plus for the region, is the fact that the corridor, the number of people living in the corridor from Abidjan to Lagos will increase rapidly over time, and that creates enormous business potential.
So Stephen Entry, President of Ghanaian-German Economic Association, he joins us on our in-depth segment this week as we take a look at the role that GGA plays in ensuring mutually beneficial bilateral trade relations between Ghana and Germany. Our in-depth segment comes up next. Good things will happen in Ghana, and we are looking forward to that. Now, I feel like this topic, I'm not sure whether we should go into it because it has the potential to drag on forever, but we definitely can touch on it for a little while. So taking a look at the strength of businesses or companies in Ghana. Now, in order to be able to compete on the global market, businesses in the country need to be strong enough, meeting standards, having access to credit, just as you talk about the capacity and all of that. As far as you are concerned, and I know that you've interacted with the private sector a lot, you know almost all of their challenges. As far as you are concerned, how strong is the current private sector that we have in terms of what we've talking about? The capacity, access to financing, and meeting of standards in general.
Okay, so if you look at access to financing, I think that's where we have serious challenges. The Bank of Ghana reference rate now is a little over 30%. And so what can the banks do? Has to be 30% plus. So what types of businesses could companies do when they borrow from the bank to generate, first to pay your 30% interest, and also to come out with profitable earnings? It's a challenge. But still, amidst this challenge, I don't know whether you saw from the third quarter earnings of the banks, very impressive. You saw that GCB is doing around 500 million Ghana cedis profit. SG did over 400 million, Societe Generale 400 million profit. EcoBank did around 800 million profit this year. I mean, but those are the banks. They know what it is that they are doing. They are the ones. They have several instruments to make their money. But if you go to the rest of industry, the challenge is very severe. Lately, there's been a situation where the GRA has been quite overambitious with existing taxpayers. We strongly have recommended over and over again that the GIA, rather than concentrating on the same people who pay tax, should broaden the tax net. I mean, look, this country, if you look at Accra, it's more like the whole of Accra is like a huge construction zone. So we have masons, carpenters, we have all manner of people earning quite a lot of money. And how come they are not taxed? And so there are so many questions. If I'm paying tax, then they also have to pay tax, no matter how little. But you can tell you that they constitute the largest segment of the workforce in Ghana, those in the informal sector. So they are available there. So there's a cry among industry players that the tax situation is a little overburdensome, and you see different trade groups also coming out to say this. So it's not us saying this. And then we also want situations where there's uniformity in the way companies are treated. Uniformity here means that if we import products from, and we are clearing them from the ports, let's use the same benchmark for all companies. There have been situations where some people feel that others might have received, call it preferential treatment. And so it shows up in the way they're able to sell their products. That is what some players are saying. So I think it's a process for us. It's a process that we need to all get involved, industry players, the Ghana Revenue Authority, and government at large, to look at ways to streamline all these things, to create more fairness, more equity, so that there won't be any hue and cry from any quarter. And then we'll all be able to, meet our tax obligations, be seen to be all playing in a level playing field, and very, very importantly, to be treated equally, whether you are from a company is from Asia or from North America or from the EU. That's really the important thing for us. But we know that a lot of these things take some time. A lot of these things they started years and years ago, and it's going to take some time to really get it fixed. Right. We are patient, but we cannot be patient for too long. We want intervention in this area so that things can really get on track for all of us, all businesses. The potential is there. The potential is there. We just need to hold each other's hand, government, industry players, and then institutions that are tasked to do these different types of works, to say, hey, what's the problem? Let's fix them and let the system work and work well. That's it.
So clearly, public-private partnership is imperative in order to boost our business environment or the business sector. Apart from government intervention and all of that, what inputs can they put in as businesses in order to ensure that, they are up there and then they are able to meet the standards, they're able to compete globally?
I think the first and most important thing is soft skills. Integrity. Now, integrity is a very broad word that includes everything like punctuality, truthfulness, character. All these things have come into play. We cannot be in a situation where you are in an organization and you're supposed to have a meeting with somebody at 12 o'clock, and then at 12:05 you are not there, you've not called in, nothing. We cannot have situations where you promise that you will deliver a product within a week, and then a week has come, 2 weeks has come, the person has already paid you, made part payment, or maybe paid you in full, and you've not bothered to even call to say, this is my situation. So those soft skills, those type of things, they are very bad for business, especially when at the private sector level, you are dealing with other companies out there. For them, your word is your bond. Your word is your bond. And once you put pen and paper down and you state categorically that this service or this product is going to be available at this time or this date, things happen. Issues may happen. But don't wait till the day that you're supposed to deliver, knowing very well, maybe a couple of days in advance, that you have these impediments that are hindering you meeting that deadline, and you don't say anything, and that day comes and you still don't say anything. You wait for them to get in touch with you before you say something. At that point, whatever you say will be perceived to be untruthful. Just saying it to cover up. And I think we've done it so much in this country, whether it's the seamstress who promised that your product, your shirt or your skirt or your cloth is going to be ready, or the carpenter who promised that your table or your furniture will be ready at a certain time, and you have to make countless visits before they get it ready. That type of attitude has to stop. It will never work out there. We will never be competitive. The good old accolade has been, oh, this guy, he's a good craftsman. But that is, but it's so typical. I think all of us as business people have to resolve that. That should be out of our jargon. We should now get into a regime where our word will be our word. Okay? I think it's so crucial. I think those are the areas. Once we're able to meet these challenges, once we're able to overcome this, I think the rest will take care of itself. You can be trained. We can all be trained. But if after training, instead of coming in at a certain time to deliver, you don't, then what's the worth of the training? And it cuts across. That's a very sorry state for us as a country and as a people. And I guess the other part is also the supervision. So these people are not doing that. And we normally have a supervisor or somebody who is supposed to be in charge of them, who is supposed to also come in and perhaps put in disciplinary measures or some other measure to make sure they stick to the game. And they also are found sluggish at times. So I think it's a whole complex thing, but we need to break that barrier as we tread towards the line in 2023, finish line 2023, and say this is something, this is a conduct that we never ever going to do, tolerate in 2024. I think it's very important. Our only thought on that, that's once we're able to overcome that, I think the rest of it, we can manage it.
Interesting. And one thing that you also mentioned that GGEA does is doing research and coming out with reports on, for instance, doing business in Ghana, doing business in Germany. So in your recent report, can you sort of paint a picture of the general doing business environment in the country? Which areas are we excelling at and which areas do we need to work on?
You know, the World Bank used to publish these reports called Doing Business. And the rankings of Ghana had, over the years, in a very consistent manner, been falling. At one time, we were going in the right trajectory, but for some strange reason, it's just been falling. I think without unquestionably, you could say that corruption perhaps has a role to play in this. So the business environment and doing business in Ghana, we've always advised people that, yes, there are opportunities here, but we still have issues with our land tenure system. We know that there have been a lot of efforts that have gone into straightening up the land system in Ghana. But if you are lucky to purchase lands from the government directly, then you don't necessarily have any issues. But if you get it from outside this comfort zone, from the chiefs and from individuals, you may face challenges. The last time I checked in the courts in Accra alone, there were more than 10,000 land disputes that are awaiting resolution. So those are the things. But see, that is an issue, but then there's a solution for that. The solution then is that you get in, you hire the right types of attorneys and lawyers to really dig into the documents to make sure that they are bona fide documents, to make sure that title holders are the right people before they pass on the title to you. So that is one of the issues. Now, we know inflation has been an issue with us. Luckily, it's trending down from a high of over 54%. I think the last time from the statistics office, I think we are hovering around 30%, a little over 30% or so. And so we see that it's trending in the right direction. Concomitant with that is also the forest regime, the hiccups and instability that we see. I think what the markets are waiting for now is for the IMF to perhaps bring in the second tranche in this month, and that will calm nerves. That normally also means that the government of Ghana is following through with the program. The more it delays, then the perception is that the government is not following through with the program, and therefore you'll see that the city will start misbehaving. So those are some of the things you look at, and you do an analysis for our friends out there, and you have to be objective because these are They can see it. They see it. So you cannot sugarcoat it for them. You have to provide them as they are, because they can see IMF reports. They can see they have several sources. But it's good to maintain a trustworthy relationship, that you paint the right picture for them to see. So we do that. We will do the right thing. But we also provide anecdotes and say, okay, this is the situation. However, we feel this is how things are going to progress in the next couple of months based on certain actions that government has taken in this respect or in that respect, and so on and so forth. So we are truthful, but we are also very hopeful that this economy would begin to take its place, begin to rise and begin to perform as it was anticipated to, especially with the fund IMF standing shoulder to shoulder with us. You know, we think that it's a good time. Things are going to get better.
You're watching International Trade Focus, and this is our in-depth segment. Our guest for today is Stephen Enchi. He's the president of the Ghanaian-German Economic Association. The conversation with him continues after this break. Don't go away.
What is all this? Why can't we ever seem to get this right? Our meetings are always chaotic, and that's why we are never able to plan efficiently. I have to do something now.
Yes, don't we all love solutions? The Pipiasi Valley Resort welcomes you to the stunning surrounds of the Eastern Highlands of Ghana for your next business meeting, seminar, retreat, or conference.
All their venues are equipped with the latest audiovisual technology, as well as their very able conference and banqueting staff. At Pipiasi Valley Resort, you will work in peace and relaxation, coupled with scenes and adventures at the Bree Botanical Gardens, the Art Village, and many more. If you find yourself in my situation, remember, Pipiasi Valley Resort is your #1 solution. Pipiasi Valley Resort. Live life.
Ohima, no be me I take your number first.
Are you? Did you tell you say take your number give me?
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me talking about what?
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fuel up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got hit first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him.
Hey, go for na buajungwa mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy.
A warm welcome back. If you just tuned in, you're watching International Trade Focus, and this is our in-depth segment. On our in-depth segment this week, we're taking a look at the Ghanaian-German Economic Association and the role that this association plays in ensuring that there is mutually beneficial trade relations between Ghana and Germany. Our guest for today is the president of the GGEA, Stephen Enchi. So what about the cost and time of doing business at the port, for instance? What are the findings, or what is your research showing you when it comes to that area?
Well, so that area, what's happening is that the paperless port system has greatly improved the time it took to clear goods at the port. That being said, the only issue that our members are telling us is that it appears that some people are able to perhaps, lack of a better word, they're able to, assuming we all import, let's say, plaster boards from countries. They are able to maybe label theirs as something else other than plasterboards, and maybe if the rate is X amount, they end up paying Y. Those are some of the things that our people are telling us, you know. And so, again, that's why we say that there's a need for government, industry players, and the regulators, these people, the GRA, Custom Division, and so on and so forth, to sit, identify some of these bottlenecks, and then quash them once and for all. And that will result, again, in what I said earlier, a level playing field for all of us. So there's no perception that perhaps if you're able to get it in at a cheaper cost, and at times it's not through the regular ports. It might be through the land borders or something. The fake products issues. We're having situations where there are a lot of complaints about fake products coming into the market. And for this, I can mention a company of ours, Bosch. Bosch is a global leader in a lot of these handheld tools and so on and so forth. Some people are able to bring in their brand of Bosch from somewhere else, bring it in and slap Bosch on the product. And I think it's not just Bosch. So many other products, so many other companies are going through this ordeal. And I don't know whether there is customs or some other agency that should be able to identify this, because it's harming business. One of the things is that people unknowingly buy these, which are often at a reduced cost, and its efficacy, its efficiency, and its utility might not be there. In other words, you could be using it, it may catch fire, and then you ascribe it to, oh, Bosch, look at what Bosch products are. So you are really damaging the products, the original products of Bosch under these circumstances. That is a major challenge for industry players. You know, I mentioned Bosch because they have been always and consistently talking about it. And I don't know whether it's the post-market surveillance that should catch this or something. And if you report it to the authorities, I'm sure Bosch has done that, it's difficult for them also to really ascertain the differences between the two, because it's almost the same, except that it's cheaper. And in some cases, they sell at the same price, because if they sell too cheap, then you might be suspicious. If they do the same price or just a little shade under that, but then give you other incentives and so on and so forth, you go home thinking you have a Bosch product. But in the end, no, you have some product that may not be technically sound, the electrical circuitry might not be right, and it might, in the end, be risky and catch fire or other things explode. But it's a major challenge these days, yes. Major challenge.
So this is a situation where government institutions such as the Ghana Standards Authority are required to come in and sort of...
Exactly, collaborate with us. So that's why I say a lot of these problems is us, government, and the executing agency, which in this case is the standard boards, you know, to make sure that we don't get fake products in our system. You know, and it's bad for all of us. That's the truth. I'm just talking about Bosch, but it could be your favorite cream that you use. You know, you go there thinking it's product X, labeled appropriately, product X. Then you find out that after using it for a week or two, your skin starts breaking off. That's because somebody did not do their job in making sure that it is checked and checked to be sure it's this product. And again, I'm not sure whether we can, in this case, lay the blame on customs, but we can definitely leave the blame on government, on the government machinery, whether it's the standards boards or whoever is supposed to be checking these things. They've not done their job properly. Yes, yes.
So that is like a picture that has been painted of the doing business environment in the country.
Yes.
What we need to work on in some areas that are picking up, like inflation, as you mentioned. What about the German business environment? I know you have access to that as well. What does that look like?
For a lot of German and European companies, they look at, they don't have this view of Ghana as a monolithic entity. They look at it as Africa. And so all these stories, especially those that emanate from Nigeria, with the 419 and all these other things, negative issues with people using unsanitary, unhygienic ways to produce goods, that's what comes into your mind. So I guess as a result of that, they are much more likely to micro-manage, micro-inspect all these products that are coming in there. But the moment you are able to provide clear, concise information, and at times your partner who we link you up with also visits you, check out all your processes to make sure that you conform. And he can also put in a word or two by way of write-ups that have been there. This is the production process. This is what it is. That will resolve that issue. But clearly and undoubtedly, that perception is there. That Africans, especially sub-Saharan Africans, we are not used to doing things in a certain way that they are used to. We tend to cut corners, and we tend to perhaps don't take the necessary hygienic and health issues seriously, and it reflects in the products that we send out there. So that's one major impediment. The second, of course, is what I said earlier, is capacity. So yes, your product is good. We need them. We have only a mom and pop type of enterprise doing this. How do we expand? So you see, products like this guy, this fruit juice
Blue
company.
Skies.
Yes.
Blue Sky.
He missed all those things. So it's able to export quite easily. You know, but, and he takes steps to make sure that he's always conforming, not just once, but because once you conform today, doesn't mean you conform tomorrow and the day after. So they also have their checks. Periodically they do checks to make sure that all these phytosanitary issues do not crop up. And we have to be ready for that. Yeah. And that's how we also have to do the same for ourselves. Our products have to meet the same thing. You know, there's been days and times where you hear about people, AMA people, going to food sellers in places, all places that are very filthy, and selling stuff. Yeah. We see it all the time. But we as consumers, we disregard that. And that has become part of our habit. And so once we don't turn a blind eye to it. They continue to do it, and we continue to patronize it, and we eat it, we get stomach problems, we get all these things, we go to hospital, we overburden the health system, and so on and so forth. It's become cyclical. Somebody needs to break that chain, and I think I was trying to do it. I don't know whether they still have kept to it, but that type of situation is what happens also across the length and breadth of a lot of the production facilities that we have, you know. So it's something that we have to internalize in our production activities as a country. We have to internalize that. And it's not just because we are exporting it. It's because we are making it for humans, for Ghanaians, for us, and has to meet certain standards for all of us, so we don't consume it and then end up at the hospital. It's very, very important for all of us, you know. So once we're able to do that, and everybody sees that we are doing these things, then the inspection regime and the rejection regime will also go down. It's true, yes.
And that was Stephen Enchi, the president of the Ghanaian-German Economic Association. Together, we delved deeper into the association's role in fostering mutually beneficial trade relations between Germany and Ghana. News and events comes up shortly after this break. Don't go away. And it's a wrap for this week's edition of International Trade Focus. Join us same time next week as we bring you the second part of this very insightful interview. My name is Anna Spiro. International Trade Focus is brought to you by Gol, Good Energy, ADB, Truly, Agric and more, Public Elegance and Pedias Valley Resort. Bye-bye.